Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports Radio station. The station that leaves no listener behind, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Streaker, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, no K words, no Kanye talk, no T words, no that guy talk here on the station on my show, because I want to balance out all the bad news that you get very easily. We will not be talking about the headlines today, because I want this to always be a place where you come to be real and come for solutions. So that's why I have topics and guests to that end. I am on week number 666.8, just in case the 666 is not good. Consecutive weeks on the air. This is podcast show number 1321. And I'm very grateful to all of you for continuing the support to keep me here live on the air and with fabulous co-hosts. It is Wednesday, and you can see from the beautiful co-host I have in studio today, she is Dr. Tiffanie Tate. You will know her as, let's pull this up. My memories, I have great memory. My recall sucks. But she's a U.S. Navy veteran, a published author, retired OBGyn from Compton, California, playwright, singer, poet, songwriter, and more. She's the published author of many books, including an important children's book, my favorite, called Bad Touching, helping parents help children learn what is good and not so good. And y'all know me, so without further ado, please welcome back to the studio, Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Happy Wednesday, people. Happy Wednesday, y'all, in my Southern drawl. And it's always a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. This is Doctors in the House with Dr. Marissa and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And we will start the show the same way I have been for almost 3 years now, with breakfast. So Dr. Tiffanie and I are going to share breakfast with you, which is taking a bite out of my gratitude sandwich, which means top of the bun, things you're grateful for outside of yourself, things on the bottom of the bun that you're grateful for inside of yourself, otherwise known as appreciation. So Dr. Tiffanie, what are you grateful for today?
Well, I want to start with a short poem from my book, Floetry, 108 Poetic Flows on Life, Love, and Liturgical Issues, because I want to start by saying Happy Black History Month. And the title of this poem is Happy Black History Month. Why celebrate Black history? Because the history of Blacks in America remains a mystery. Contributions by Blacks to America are only known by few. The history is excluded from primary education. It's sad, but true. Let us usher in these 28 days with an open mind. Please be patient with those who don't know anything and treat them kind. Daily, please share a Black history fact. Do it with a smile and with the best tact. The end.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Tiffanie. It is Gratitude for Black History Month beginning February 1st, as you all hopefully know. And we are celebrating all things that may not be definitely in the history books or remembered, as we continue to celebrate colorful people holding strong now, especially now. And I am grateful, speaking of colorful people, still celebrating Chinese New Year. We are still within the lunar 15 years from January 29th, which was the first day of Chinese New Year. And this is the year of the wood snake, which means this will be a year of growth, renewal, transformation. And Lord knows we're doing that with our country right now. And we're just, we're knowing that the wisdom that comes with the snake is top of the mind, heart, body, soul for all of us. So I continue to celebrate Chinese New Year. Xie
Xie.
What else are you grateful for?
I am grateful that I had the opportunity to fly back east and celebrate Nathaniel's birthday. Mia and I, we had the opportunity to go and see Wicked in Chicago with Nathaniel, and it was fabulous. We got to see those plays with him, and he enjoyed celebrating his birthday, seeing those plays live on stage, and we had a fabulous time.
Wow. How old is my nephew now? My honorary nephew?
He is now 25, and I got to take him to Harlem, and we had a chance to eat at a fabulous restaurant known as Sylvia's. And if you had a chance to go to Harlem, you will not be disappointed to go to Sylvia's. A lot of famous actors and politicians have visited Sylvia's in Harlem. It's a must go.
I went to a jazz club there in Chicago. And he had me on stage. He's a very famous, is it Guy Buddy? Does that sound familiar? Probably not. I'll have to look it up. I'll have to look up my pictures for Chicago. I'll do that during the break. But yes, I am grateful for I'm great. Oh, I'm grateful that, I've been semi-bragging that I hadn't been sick since COVID started. And I still haven't had COVID, tested 5 days negative, but I did get sick for the first time in years, right? 4 years. And boy, there's nothing like recovering from being sick. And you said I had a viral something passed through with all the traveling. It's not surprising, but there's nothing like feeling better after you've been sick to really appreciate feeling good. And I think I'd taken it for granted, and I'm grateful that most of the time I'm in good health, which is something to celebrate.
Absolutely.
One last gratitude.
Absolutely. And I'm just grateful for the support of family and friends, because I think that is very important to just have the encouragement and love around you whenever you are in need. And I think that that's important.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is, and welcome. I see eyeballs rolling in like crazy. Welcome to the show. Please feel free to, I just put the story up. So I think people are like, oh, it's live. You can watch, listen, comment, give us the finger. This one, hearts, whatever you'd like, because we love to interact with you, because I am live every weekday morning, and it's not exactly easy. Everybody thinks this is easy, but I do love it. So I'm not complaining, especially since we're on the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa every first of the month. We're going to go to the bottom of the bun, which is, what do you like about yourself? And so if you start with gratitude in the morning, and at night before you go to bed, instead of thinking about all the things you did wrong or what you didn't finish or who done you wrong, I would like you to follow what we're going to do right now as an example of how we like you to fall asleep. So instead of all those things that will churn in your mind and keep you from a good night's sleep, we'll talk about things like, I appreciate my ability to attract good people in my life. And I think that's a purposeful thing. I try to stay like positive and high vibrating and looking for the good. And as a result, I attract people with like mind and like heart. So like mind, love heart. That's my secret sauce, my Thor, put out that attraction for really good people, and present company included. I really love the fact that I have some incredible people that I can call my friends and colleagues. And, I know that anytime I'm not feeling, where I usually am, I can just make a quick call to get back up there. So that was a compliment to you too.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Well, I like the fact that I can read the room. And sometimes you really want to go from 0 to 100, because I don't go to 60. I'm max. And so I like the fact that I know when to say when. You know how Kenny Rogers has that song, know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. Well, sometimes I do want to pop off. And so I appreciate the fact that while I am very vocal, I do know when to hold my tongue. And that has taken growth. Like you said, this is the year for growth. And I appreciate the fact that I know when to say when.
Yes, I appreciate my eye. I appreciate my ability to notice and be present enough to see the magic and the beauty and the wonder of life. And y'all know I became a filmmaker during COVID because all my motivational speaking gigs were canceled. And I didn't realize that I had that unique gift, talent, and ability. So I am appreciative of, like, I saw the guy sweeping the sand, and I thought to myself, well, that'll make a really cool video sped up. So I just did that this morning. We'll see how that looks. If it looks good, you'll see it on my social. Doc Balance on Instagram and Dr. Marissa everywhere else.
I appreciate the way that I love my children.
Mhm.
I think that a lot of times we as mothers, we tend to be hard on ourselves, and we tend to compare ourselves to other people. And I appreciate the fact that I no longer care how other people view me. I only care how I view me, and how I view how my children view me, and how I view me. And I appreciate the quality of the love I provide to my children.
Beautiful, beautiful. And she does have beautiful kids. I really enjoyed our play date where we played games, and there was just so much laughter. And I'm really glad we left you at the restaurant so we could go start playing first. But I hope you enjoyed having breakfast with Dr. Tiffanie and I here on Doctors in the House. And I encourage you to, with or without me, every weekday morning, to start your day in the most positive way with gratitude and appreciation. Thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now for the topic of the day. Everything is awesome. Dr. Tiffanie, what are we talking about today?
Today's topic, I think, is relevant because right now a lot of people are hurting. Whether you're in Southern California or whether you are on the East Coast, we have had a lot of disasters, be it because of the fires, be it due to tornadoes or hurricanes. Throughout the world, people have been suffering. And I think we need to be more sensitive, more compassionate towards one another. So I felt the discussion about a helpful heart was pertinent because we need to have more compassion and have a desire to help one another. And I wanted to dissect what it means to help people because I volunteer and I help, but I think it's important to help people, but I also think it's important to know when to stop helping people as well. So
Mhm.
I help people within my family. I help people with outside of my family. And I thought it was important to look at it, flip it up, like Belle Biv DeVoe said it in their song, smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Let's just look at this thing.
All right. I don't know where my head went there, but I'm not a guy, so that doesn't count as an FCC violation. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, I did comedy last night. I forgot to tell you. I've done now 5 stand-up gigs. I've done 5, on stage stand-up, which is an intention I put out there last year, going from motivational speaker who's funny to a stand-up comedian who tries to motivate. And so yesterday was time number 5, and I have to say I've been getting some real positive feedback, and it's been a lot of fun. And before I forget, this Friday, I don't know what you're doing, Friday night, every year around Valentine's, I like to do a love yourself event, especially when I'm single, which is almost always. So celebrating Single Awareness Day by focusing on self. And men are also invited. They do have some male fashion at this trunk shop apparel store. And I made friends with Lena. It's a small business in Long Beach. Want to help Long Beach business, local, on Broadway. Friday night, I'm going to be making my ancient Chinese secret banana bread, my abundance brownies. She's going to have all kinds of drinks, alcoholic and not. And we're going to raise funds for fire victims. I'm going to do stand-up. I'm going to sign books. My sets are at 5 and 6. So please do, if you're free, come down and join me in Long Beach. So I want to do that before I forgot to do it all week. So yeah, if you're free, you're probably busy, but I forgot to invite you particularly, but it is a long drive from where you are. So, but I would love to see anybody who is interested in going. And Leo, thank you. Yeah, it's a whole new ball game from motivational speaking, because usually when I'm speaking on a stage for motivation, people are paying to see me, or the corporation or whatever is paying to see me disseminate some kind of knowledge that's going to help them. Stand up is like
Entertain me, make me laugh.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just a laugh every once in a while. You're supposed to go line, laugh, line, laugh, line, laugh. So I love challenges and I love doing new things. So this has been a really fun excursion. So this will be my first official getting paid for gig. So thanks, Leo. All right. Dissecting, flipping, turning up, slamming against the wall. The idea of helpful hearts, helping hearts. That's what we're talking about. If you have any opinion on that, please give us your 8 cents worth in the comments. Leo is the captain of the Cashew Gallery today, the first one to sign in. So start us off, Dr. Tiffanie.
Okay. So when you're helpful, it means that you want to assist someone else, right? And your actions are helpful because you want to essentially lend a hand. You are inclined to put the other person's needs before your own. And I've done this in many different ways. I've also put limitations on this in many different ways. Sometimes you can do it to your detriment, which I've also done. I can't say that that was necessarily a good thing. to give to your detriment. That's when you want to do boundaries or practice boundaries. But you can be selfless. And when you're selfless, you're being generous, you're being kind, and you're giving without looking for a gain. A lot of times we want to, when you're walking down the street and you see someone someone less fortunate than you, and they're asking for assistance, sometimes you're looking at them skeptically because you're wondering, are they really in need? Do they have a Mercedes Benz around the corner? Because sometimes you've seen an expose on 60 Minutes, because that has indeed been the case. But the reality is, for the most part, that's not the majority of people. So you can give some change out of your pocket. But now we have hundreds of thousands of people in Southern California who have lost their homes and who have actually nothing. So we can give a little deeper. And there are lots of organizations like my sorority, and a lot of other organizations who are looking to raise funds to give scholarships to high school students, college students. So there are lots of worthy organizations who you can give funds to help students in need. So then you have to look within yourself to say, what is worthy that I want to contribute to? I can't tell you what your values are. Only you know what your values are. So what trait within you is worthy to make you give? Altruistic is a characteristic trait that describes an individual who is selfless, compassionate, and has a motivation to give to others. What say you, Dr. Marissa?
I say, as usual, it's all about balance. And I like that you're putting some, limits. It's good to give and help as long as you're not, giving everybody the oxygen on the airplane as you are suffocating because you have no air. And that's an example. I think you brought it up way back early in the series that is very useful. I think that we live in a society too, and those who are born in strict religions where the order is God, or whatever you want to call that, higher power, others, and then self. And it's my opinion that breeds just really a lot of unhappiness, because you sacrifice yourself, you give until you're exhausted, like you do everything for everybody, and then you have nothing left for yourself. And when I do coaching, one of the things that comes up all the time is I don't have time for myself. And it's like, are you waiting for someone to tell you, why don't you take a day off? Why don't you? No, they're not going to tell you. You have to tell yourself, oh, but I can't. I have this responsibility and that responsibility. And it's like, okay, do we really? We take a responsibility inventory to really look at how much of your help is actually hurting someone, which is what you were saying before, because that fine line between helping and then enabling is a huge, once you cross that line, you think you're helping and you're exhausting yourself. And you're just like, every time someone calls and says, I'm in jail again, or they're, on Skid Row, or whatever the common pattern habit is, and you continue to go and try to bail them out and help them out and give them money and give them this and give them that, at some point you're not helping them. You are hurting them and enabling them to not build that muscle of self-reliance and making good decisions on their own. And that just reminded me, we grew up, even though we're both ageless, but I think we grew up where our parents were more, spare the rod, spoil the child, right? So we had stricter, I'll give you something to cry about, and it's my way or you're out. And that, that extreme was not great. That's why 7 out of 10 of us have had childhood trauma, one of the reasons. But the other extreme, I watched my husband's oldest sister do the extreme opposite, which is, oh, look at how wonderfully the house is burning down that my son just set. Like, look, like complete no limits, no anything. And that's also not great too, because it's, there is some value in teaching children what some benefit and consequences of choices and behavior. So that just reminded me of that. So absolutely agree. There has to be a limit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know as I was maturing, my hierarchy of order of preference changed. When I was younger and training, my order was God, family, school, everything else. Now that I'm out of school, it's God, family, then everything else. And so as you set your priorities, you will see. Now, the statistic, when I was researching, I wanted to see how often do people in the world help other people. Can you guess what that number is?
How often? Like percent of the time?
Just like how many people out of 10 help? Just how
help other people?
Yeah.
8?
No.
4.
4 in 10 people help others.
Wow.
A minimum of once a month. That is a sad statistic.
That is.
So,
I'm
yes.
surprised.
Yes. So we really should do better.
Yeah. But I think the people that hear that aren't helping are like, they don't even, it goes like right over their head. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the people who are like, hear that and go, are the ones that are already helping. It makes me think, are people born with the innate desire to help? Or is it something learned from your family, from society, from your religion, from your school? That's a good question.
So that was a point.
Uh-huh.
Since it's 9:28, I don't know if you want to take a station identification before we delve into that, or if you want to just delve right into it.
It's okay. We can take a break and come right back. We're going to pause for news, weather, and traffic, and to thank the sponsor of today's show. Chuck Woolery, bless him, said, we'll be back in 2 and 2. We don't take that quite that long, but it's peace in and peace out. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tiffanie Tate. Please check out my website at www.drtiffanitate.com. On that site, you will find information on my book, Money Matters. It teaches children about saving, tithing, and investing. It is the story about 3 brothers who find a $100 bill on the way home and learn how to invest it, save, and spend it. You will find information about my book, Bad Touching. This is the story about 2 sisters, Lily and Linda, who learn about safe touching and bad touching. You will also find a book called Little Engine Mia Sings. It is also available as an audiobook. You will find it on Amazon as well as Barnes & Nobles. It teaches children about bullying, how to speak up and speak out. Also available on Amazon as well as Barnes & Nobles. Pick all 3 books up today. They are available for your purchase for your favorite niece, nephew, daughter, or son. Thank you.
back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, number one talk in the IE in the slot. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, my YouTube TV channel, which houses all 1,321 podcast shows, as well as my playlist with celebrity interviews, including John Travolta, Halle Berry, The Temptations, you name it. They're there, and I'm grateful that I'm still here bringing you things that are balancing out all the bad news. And if you'd like to be a sponsor on this show, it's very easy. Just contact me. It's not easy to get sponsors because I am not doing the headlines, no shock talk, no ranting, political or otherwise. So I am also determined to help small businesses. So if you'd like to be a sponsor on this show, please do contact me. It's very easy. Just use my assistant Google and put in Dr. Marissa or Asian Oprah. And you're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show in every Wednesday to help you over the hump of the week. I have my very wonderful series called Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And we are here to talk about helping hearts today. And Dr. Tiffanie was just about to jump into some theoretical, I'm guessing, things and statistics around helping hearts. Go for it.
So based on the research, people will sometimes do minor things to help. So if a person says, hey, can you pass me that pen? Can you pass me that pencil? They'll do insignificant things, but not necessarily major things. But some of the key points about helping behavior. So here are some frequent small acts. So most helping behavior are small, everyday acts like holding a door open or offering directions. There are some cultural consistencies. Studies indicate that helping behavior is widespread across different cultures, and they vary in scale. While small acts are common, people also engage in larger acts of helping, like volunteering or donating to charities, depending on individual circumstances. So when we look at situations like that, you can see people holding the door, because I've done that on a regular basis. You'll see things like that on a daily basis. I'm sure you've done that many times, held the door open for people as you've entered a building or exited a building, or have seen other people do that as well. So those minor things are simple, right?
Right. And let me just interject just before we lose this thought around holding the doors, because I can hear my executives right now saying, yeah, but nah, because I do value and diversity work. And one of the biggest complaints is, I don't understand why some women just flip out if I open the door for them. And they're like, I can do that myself. And what is the big deal? And I'm just trying to be respectful. And what's wrong with women today? So take a breath. And it is one of the that and complimenting what a woman is wearing is shifting. And here's the deal. Whether you understand the logic behind this or not, it doesn't matter. If someone tells you, I prefer to open the door myself, if you want to connect with that person, it would behoove you to say, oh, I was just trying to be respectful. You don't even have to say that. And said, please, because they're telling you that to connect with me, I would like you to not open the door for me or not compliment me. And that's just them telling you how to connect with them. It doesn't mean all women don't like their doors held open. It doesn't mean that all women don't like being complimented. For that person, you might want to change to be more effective for them. And don't stereotype across all. However, it comes from, and if you can try to understand this, it would be great. If you can't, no big deal, respect it anyways. The shift that we've come through with women at work has been secretary pat on the butt not that long ago. Women told to meet their men at the door with a martini. That's the women's job. They wear their little dainty glove. That's our past. And so things like holding open a door for a woman are from that past. And it does push the buttons of some women who are adamant that we've come a long way, Virginia Slims, and don't want to be treated like a dainty woman anymore. You may not agree, you may not understand, but tough patooties, just if you want to be effective for people who are feeling that way, that's how you do it.
Well, I've held the door open for other women. I've held the door open for other men. But yes, I saw the moose on the table. And they've been very appreciative. And it can be a sticky situation. And it can be a tough subject. But I would recommend hold the door open and then see how they respond, because it's just being a nice human being. And if a man holds the door open for the woman, she's more likely to say thank you than to give you attitude.
Depends on where you are.
Yeah, especially if her hands are full of stuff. Yeah. I think that's more being nice, because if her hands are full and she can't get the door, she's more likely to be okay. Other than that, she's going to be trying to use her butt or things like that. Trust me, I've been there. I mean, I can do it. I was a mom. We figured things out. But
okay, now I'm going to put another moose on the table. Mm-hmm. If you're listening and you are one of the women that I'm talking about who does flip out when someone holds open the door, I would ask you, for balance, to consider the intent of the person holding open the door. Their intent is to be helpful. Their intent is not to say you're a weak woman. So it goes both ways. All right. So I don't want to, we all have to come to that middle. There. Is that better?
Mm-hmm. Or if they're holding the door and you don't want it, just say no, thank you. It's okay to speak up and speak out. Just say no, thank you. I have it. Mm-hmm. It's okay to state
it's
what
not
you
that
want.
big of a deal, right? Yeah. Intbod, INTBOID. It's not that big of a deal.
So it's okay. I got it.
Yeah. All right. Keep going.
Okay. So there's that. And why help others? The desire to help others usually stems from various psychological, emotional, and social factors. A lot of times people can empathize with other people, and that's one of the reasons that people want to help others. There's this longing to connect, and so there's this natural ability to put themselves in other people's shoes. And I remember you questioned a few minutes ago before the break, why do some people help and some people don't? Mm-hmm. Is it their upbringing or things like that? I think it's a little bit of both, nature and nurture, because they can feel their pain, feel their joy, and there's this emotional connection that can drive the need and urge to assist the other people and those in need. And that's why we have that issue while you have 4 out of those 10 people helping, but you have the 6 out of 10 not helping. The issue is, how do we get those other 6 out of 10 to connect? Is there a way to appeal so that we can get all 10 out of 10 to want to do something? Because that would make a greater impact on society.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I thought maybe they would have a study, but they don't have that one. They just talk about general genes and genetics. But is it possible to help without wanting something in return? And I'm asking this for several reasons. One is, there's an expression out there, for fun and for free. And if you can do something for someone without expecting something back, it is the best kind of giving, right? But is that really possible for human beings who are conditional? And then I go to the extreme in my Tao side, my mother's family side. It is a well-known fact that in our dysfunction, putting the fun back into our family dysfunction, it seems to be a Tao trait to, I'll give you this, but you better, be grateful for the rest of your life, or you better, give me something back in return, and I'm going to hold it over you for the rest of your life. And that I really wanted to change in my family with my daughters. I did not want to pass that tradition, a dysfunctional tradition, to my kids. And unfortunately, there still is a little of that. I had to face myself in that this last holiday season. It was not pretty. I didn't want to admit it. And Christmas had gotten to, well, I spent this much money on you and you only spent that much money, not out loud, but in the head. And it's a horrible way to give. So I don't know if you were going to address that, but I thought I would put that. There's a lot of moose going on the table this morning, which is my Canadian version of talking about the elephant in the room for anybody who's new and listening right now. So
I believe when I was in high school, I learned a poem, and I'm not going to recite the whole poem because I love the poem. I think his name was John Donne, Donne, and it's called "No Man is an Island." Have you ever heard of that? No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. And that's how it starts. And so basically, as human beings, we are a society. We are a community. We do not live alone. We are all together, and we are intricate. We rely on one another. And I think that it's important for us always to think of each other that way. And one word I learned when I was looking this up is pro-social. I thought that was interesting. And it says, whether you are giving money or time, when you help others, you are being pro-social. Pro-social behaviors are behaviors that benefit other people. And so it's not related to how much money you spend or anything. It's just being together, relying on one another, and it doesn't matter about how much you spend or anything like that. And so I looked up what is the human tendency to help others. Mm-hmm. And it says across cultures, these small requests for assistance are basically complied with 7 times more often than they are declined. So it says it's rare occasions that people do decline, and when they do decline, they will explain why. So the human tendency to help others when in needed, they tend to try to do it, and it's not based on finances. It's not based on an amount, but when they can't, they want to explain themselves, and it transcends cultural differences. So
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm hearing is, on a spontaneous level, human beings are more apt to help than not to help. So if someone's in need, the first impulse is to say, I will help you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they want to at least try.
That's great. Well, we see, the bad news about the fires is all the loss. The good news about the fire and any tragedy is it seems to break our hearts wide open to want to help. And in particular, the sports teams in Los Angeles have been incredible in offering financial program assistance and all of that, which is amazing. I know several people who have no one that they know who had lost anything and were dedicating time to go and help with the distribution of things like that. So that's like amazing to have that. I'm happy to hear that we do have that that impulse to want to help before saying, whoa, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, my videographer for my birthday party, my cousin, he lost everything in the Palisades fire.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Wow. And is the family banding around to help?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sure. Dr. Tiffanie has like one of the largest families I've ever come across. So that's the good news, you know. And this is the thing. I'll just say one more moose today. You know, anybody who comes into life thinking that life is going to be just like roses and strawberries and chocolate the whole time is really, you know, what planet are you on? No one guarantees that this thing called life is completely without pain or tragedy. It is that's life, right? I'm just sometimes I get like a little perturbed when people they're stuck in the pain. Like pain is mandatory, suffering is optional. And when bad things happen, there is a silver lining. You get to develop ways in which to transform and renew, and other people get ways in which to exercise their help muscle and their compassion and their helping heart, as we're talking today. So I guess that moose is, you know, what are your expectations around life? And I'm not saying it's all horrible, but you know, take time to smell the roses and the fertilizer. Like all pain in life is fertilizer. It's growing us, chiseling us to greater and greater good. And in that way, I can look at everything that's happening to me and others in a way that isn't, you know, yes, that's important in the first month to feel the grief and the loss. But at some point, folks, let's celebrate renewal. Let's celebrate. I know for a fact that everything happens for our divine and best good. So no matter even the fires, and I had to wait to say this. I couldn't say this in the first week, right? Because that's too early. But at this point, you know, let's focus on what is being helpful. Let's focus on what is being done to, I love that newscast where they said, let's go back to another fire and what lessons can we learn on how to rebuild? That was on Spectrum. I'm like, that is so cool. I should go and see if they need any broadcasters. But I was very proud of that.
And I think it's important to remember when to stop helping someone. If you are assisting someone else and it becomes overtaxing to your time, or if you agree to help someone and the cost becomes too great, too emotionally taxing, even if you agreed and the financial burden is too strong, it's okay to step back and adjust and pivot and say, you know, I'm sorry, I can no longer do this. And you can adjust. You can adjust how much you can help. You can tweak that thing. And it's okay, because if you are harming yourself, you can say, I need to modify this because you have to take care of you first.
Yeah. Absolutely. Here's some ways in which you might identify as over helping. And again, when I coach people and they say, I don't have enough time, you know, I'm always running out of time. I ask them specifically, do you have a friend that you spend an hour on the phone trying to help them out of a situation that they're in? And they almost always say yes. And then I'll say, has it helped them? No, it hasn't. And how long have you been trying to help them? Oh, like 10 years. And are you giving the same advice? Yes. And are they taking it? No. And so then I go, okay, at this point, do you want to put that person in front of you? So it's God, others, self, God, that person, self, and you are going to lose that hour. Could you be spending that hour to nourish yourself, go have some fun, do something else? And it's one of those that's exactly helping too much and you not benefiting from it, right? It's just amazing to me. Almost everyone has someone in their life who falls into that category. I worked with a mom whose kids were her life, but she had no life because every day there was a drama about her children that she was consumed in. So she had no time to do anything that she ever wanted to. She was retired. She had all this time to learn a new language, which she always wanted to do stand up, which she always wanted to do. And instead, the entire day was consumed with the kids' drama of what was going on in their lives. And so that's the moose on. I said only one more moose. The moose fell on the floor. But if this resonates, you might want to look at how you want to help yourself and be a little less helpful to that one or two individuals in your life.
Absolutely. And we've had a lot of mooses today. And I think it's okay because this is an important topic with having a helpful heart, because it is important to help others, but it is also important to help yourself in the process. And I think that you have to love others, but love yourself, because last year we did Journey to the Center of You. And if you need to go back and watch that, go back and watch it. If you need to go back and watch Boundaries, go back and watch it, because these are all still available on YouTube, because a helpful heart is great to have. And we would love to see 10 out of 10 people helping. And we would love to see our society being uplifted, because when the question is asked, am I my brother's keeper? Am I my sister's keeper? I would like to be able to say, yes, I am. I want to be able to say, I have helped my fellow man. I have helped my fellow woman. I have helped uplift the world. But I would also like to be able to say, I took great care of myself in the process. Mm-hmm. So don't help to your detriment, people.
Yes. Here. I want to just go back to one of the themes of helping with no expectation of return. And I say this for myself first and foremost. I have a little exercise that I'd like you to try, and it's called drive-by compliments. Drive-by compliments. So today, and until we see you next Wednesday on this particular Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate,
I would like you to compliment 8 people every day without stopping to see you can see their reaction, but I don't want you to stop with the expectation that they're going to say something back to you, because there's really a beautiful thing that happens when you walk towards someone, you smile and you say, that's a beautiful earrings or brooch or whatever it is. Or
your makeup looks flawless.
Your makeup looks flawless. Your hair looks wonderful, especially for women who have a tendency to excuse away the compliment by saying, oh, I didn't even wash it today. Or, oh, I got the earrings at 99 cents store. Oh, those at the Dollar Tree. So Don't give them a chance to excuse it away. Just smile, do the compliment, and walk by. They're called drive-by compliments. I made this up years ago because it helps, one, you be helpful because your word is helpful, and for the person to receive it without pushing it away. Okay, so that's my Happy 88 challenge. Y'all, let's revisit this next week to see how you did. And just, it will make you feel better. I think that's one. For my final word is, why do I want to be helpful? I have yet to be helpful and not feel good about being helpful outside of the example I gave you when you're being too helpful or helpful without, them receiving it at all. But I would say 100% of the time, when I do something out of the goodness of my heart without expecting anything in return, I feel like a true member of humankind. Emphasis on kind. And if we all did this, guess what? We would have world peace. I rest my case. Dr. Tiffanie, what's your final word?
Well, thank you, Z Queen. We love your drive-by compliments. And I believe that if we continue to do drive-by compliments, and if we continue to be helpful and uplift one another and have a helpful heart, the world will indeed be a better place, and we can be kind and loving and helpful towards one another.
Absolutely. And Z, what a beautiful smile in your thumbnail photo. And that's a drive-by. So that's my first one. I'm so delighted. It just goes so fast every Wednesday when we do Doctors in the House. And please do return tomorrow. It's Throwback Thursday, although my guest had a family emergency on Tuesday. We'll see if we get her back. She's an author on journaling as a helpful Happy 88 tool for those who are going through stuff right now. And Friday is Story Talk, and we're going to be talking about the Grammy, Fashion, and Academy Best Picture nominees with Ricky Rebel. So that's what's going on the rest of the week. Thanks for joining us today. And there is the best expression. If you compliment someone and they start excusing themselves or downplaying the compliment, say, "Thank you," is the response I was looking for. It's always a delight, Dr. Tiffanie, to have you here on the series, Doctors in the House. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace.
Your peace.
And take it out.
Now go and have the best day ever.